वंदेहम श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषि नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Just give me a minute. Okay. Yeah, welcome everyone to the Sunday morning class. We are, the topic for today is the regulative principles of freedom, and this is sort of a contradictory phrase because when you say regulation, it cannot actually, the word regulation and the word freedom are can be thought to be contradictory or opposite. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, as he does with so many other things, presents things from a different dimension, and which is actually even very practical. So if we just think about it, when we think of restrictions, when we think of freedom, there have to be certain rules that we follow, and then we can be free. So for example, even in the law of the land, you can remain free. You don't have to be in prison as long as you follow certain things. So when you follow those things, then you're allowed to do whatever you want to, but within the ecosystem of following those things. And those who don't, and they just do whatever they want to, eventually when the law catches up to them, all their freedom is taken away. So they may feel initially that I am actually free, I am doing everything, I don't have to pay taxes, I don't have to drive on the right side of the road, I don't have to respect the rules and regulations. If I don't like someone, I can just do whatever I want to, things like that. So they may feel that, hey, see, no one is above me. But then the law will catch up to them, and then they'll be behind prison, they'll be behind bars. So all the freedom goes away. So similarly, this is just the law of the land. What to speak of actual codes that govern life, that are beyond the law of the land, that are beyond the body. So therefore there are certain regulations that are followed, just like in the life of a materialist. To be able to live freely, there are certain rules and regulations they follow. In the life of a spiritualist, to be able to be free from the unwanted clutter of anger, of greed, of envy, of illusion, of lust, of pride, there have to be certain regulations that have to be followed. And when those regulations are followed, then there is genuine freedom from a lot of things. So before we start with the verse, I can see there are 127 people, and if you remove the co-hosts and me, there are 123 people who are here, but I only see Mahapati Prabhu and Vikas Prabhu's cameras on. So unless you are performing surgery somewhere and you've got your earphone on, or unless you are, actually that's the only thing. If you are not performing surgery, then please put on your camera. Or unless you are in office and you're secretly hearing, if none of these two things are there. Or if you're like Girdhar Madhav Prabhu, if you're driving, then you have the liberty not to put on the camera if you're driving. But if someone else is driving, then you can put on the camera. So please switch it on. The reason that is there is, one is we want to see everybody, but more importantly, there we tend to be more attentive when our camera is on, because when it's off, then we sort of drift away. And I don't know about you, but my mind's attention span is very short. So if you tell me to do multitasking, I will do no tasking. So yeah, even if you're cooking in the kitchen, you can just put on your camera so that you are alert, like this Mataji has done, Prerna. So yeah, so now I'll just share my screen. We'll discuss this verse and then we'll start. Yeah. So this is from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and this is verse 64, where Krishna says, Ragadvesha vimuktestu vishayan indriyascharan atma vashner videyatma prasadam adhigacchati. A person who is free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. A person who is free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through the regulative principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy. Prasadam adhigacchati, complete mercy of the Lord. Okay, so Krishna introduces this concept of regulation and freedom. Now, if we... Yeah, thank you. So many of you have switched on your cameras. Thank you very much. Oh, Monica, nice to see you. Yeah, long time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Nice to see Kashyap Kapila Prabhu from somewhere in the world. He keeps shifting residences nowadays very quickly.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
He's somewhere in the world, yes. Yeah. I saw Sudeep Prabhu, so nice to see you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Our prayers for your good health.
Thank you so much.
Umesh Prabhu is home alone today. The rest of the family are out for the rest of the day, so he's very happy.
No, Prabhuji.
So, Srila Prabhupada gave these 4 regulative principles. He coined them from this verse. So we have these 4 regulative principles, which are no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit relationships, and they come from this. So actually, just to be a human being also, Shastra says there are 4 primary pillars on which, even to become a human being, moving from a 2-legged animal to a human being, there are these 4 pillars that need to be there in everyone's life. If those are there, then a person at least comes on the level of a human being, and then a person can actually become spiritual. Those 4 pillars are austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. Austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. It's very common sense. These are all good qualities, 4 of them. If we just think about it, how much of austerity is encouraged nowadays in the world, whereas earlier it was, earlier people had no problem voluntarily performing some austerity. Now, even if we, I don't know, I'm not speaking for anyone else, I'm just purely speaking for myself, but when there are those days of fasting, it's sort of one day before you think, "Arey, kal fasting karna hai." Nirjal Ekadashi or Janmashtami fast, where the whole day you don't eat. So it plays on your mind, I have to do that austerity. But actually, austerity should be inculcated. Similarly, mercy. Mercy is basically towards others. Truthfulness, being honest no matter what, and cleanliness. So let's go deeper into this. So this principle of mercy correlates with the regulative principle of no meat eating. And it's not very difficult to correlate the two. Srila Prabhupada says that how can we be kind towards people when we aren't kind towards animals? Just because an animal cannot protest, or just because we did not directly lead to its death, it's actually that, right? It's the murder of an animal. So even if we take the spiritual consideration out, if we just take a scientific consideration, for example, there are differences between carnivorous animals and human beings. There are differences in body structure. There is this whole our the pancreas and all these things, the stomach glands. They are designed in such a way for a human being that they cannot are not supposed to digest meat. Whereas those of animals like the carnivorous animals, like for example a tiger, their body is designed in such a way to be able to digest this. When we eat meat, we have to ensure it's cut properly, ensure it's marinated, ensure it is soft, ensure it is cooked properly, and then we can consume it. Raw meat, anyone tries to eat, they'll not be able to eat it only. Uh, and in that also, it takes around, I think, 48 hours or 72 hours for the for the stomach to completely digest that. If we put that meat outside in normal temperature for that amount of time, it will rot. So actually, that's what it's doing inside the body. It's rotting. And if you are going to eat, if there are things in your body which are rotting, guess what happens to your consciousness? It has a toll. It has a toll on that. So that's, yeah. Things, some people need to be muted. Yeah. Purely from a scientific consideration, nowadays you see all these athletes, and they are turning to vegetarianism, and they aren't turning it for religious considerations, they aren't even turning to it for moral considerations, they are purely turning to it for uh, health considerations. Champions of sports like Virat Kohli or Lewis Hamilton, and all these guys, I think even Novak Djokovic, if I'm not wrong, they are all vegetarian. Some of them are even vegan. But science has come to this conclusion that by not putting the flesh of an animal in your body actually responds better. By putting food that the body is meant to digest, the body's output becomes better. And we are so fortunate as Indians that we have this, wealth of culinary in our country, that every 100 kilometers, if you go and travel in our country, every 100 kilometers the cuisine changes. There's so much variety. And if you live in a metropolitan city, all those varieties are available to you. In your city, there'll probably be restaurants, or you'll know friends who can, or now there's YouTube, you can learn. So there is no real need to eat meat. Earlier, there was this misconception. Like I remember in the 90s, Pakistan's bowling attack in cricket used to always be far, far more superior than India. I don't know now how it is, but earlier far superior. And I remember in school, our cricket coach used to correlate it. देखो वो लोग मांस खाते हैं ना, तुम भी खाओ, चिकन खाओ, ये हेल्थ बढ़ाओ, ये फिश खाओ. वो देखो वसीम अकरम, वकार यूनिस, ये सब खाते हैं, शोएब अख्तर, they see they can play so nicely. Well, now that's completely thrown out of the window, because you don't need meat to have strong bones, to have strength, to have muscle. You have so many other vegetarian plant-based alternatives. So the scientific consideration doesn't support eating meat. The economic consideration, we are always crying that the resources of the planet are depleting. There is a water shortage. If you live in any major city like Mumbai, there will always, when it comes to April, May, the BMC alerts will come. Lake levels are going down. There may be water shortages. If the prediction of the monsoon is not good, they will say, "Ice bar to wo." Yeah? Which lake is that we have in outside Mumbai? They keep monitoring its.
Pavna Lake.
Sorry.
Pavna.
No, there's one lake, no, which they keep monitoring and they say, next 8 months there's no water problem.
Tansa Lake. Tansa
okay.
Lake, Pauna Lake.
So they keep cribbing about these things. Well, guess what? It it takes 2,400 gallons of water to be able to produce 1 pound of meat for consumption. 1 pound of meat, be it beef or be it chicken or anything, it takes 2,400 gallons of water to do that. 51% or more of global greenhouse gas emissions are caused by animal agriculture. There is a term called animal agriculture. Growing animals just for slaughter. Who wants to have to catch animals and then bring them to the slaughterhouse? We create these, mini ecosystems in which they are bred just for killing. I remember in 2004, I was driving from San Francisco to Los Angeles. There is this very scenic highway 101 in America, which is basically on the coast, the Pacific Ocean, the coastal road of the Pacific Ocean. And very beautiful scenic. You'll cross all these wonderful cities like Santa Monica and all these very very scenic places. Suddenly, after a few hours of that drive, there was a weird smell that started coming. And it intensified more and more as the car kept going towards Los Angeles. And after a while, it just became very, very bad, foul smelling. And then we came across this huge slaughterhouse. It was like probably 50 acres, huge slaughterhouse, and this stench was coming from the meat which was there, fresh meat. So they build these things. These animals are just fed, and you can watch any documentary to now. So much information is there of how they are literally tortured to death. What happens when that happens? Now, going from the scientific consideration and the economic consideration to a more deeper consideration, when an animal dies with this kind of torture, that percolates into its body from the mind. And so therefore the flesh which we are eating has all these negative emotions in it. And no matter what tadka you put or how much whatever you paste you make and marinate it and do all that, we are inheriting this consciousness. Now I don't know about you, but I have enough problems with my own mind. I don't want to put more problems into my mouth. Just between these 2 years, this thing which is there causes me sufficient trouble every day. My own mind. I don't want anything else to cause me trouble, let alone something that I have to mix with rice or eat with chapati. I can do that with potato and paneer and soya and all these wonderful vegetables. So, are we really wanting just for taste to take all this? And we haven't even come to karma yet. We've not even scratched the surface, which we will now, about karma. So from a scientific consideration, from resources consideration, from an economic consideration, from a health consideration, from a consciousness consideration, it's a no-brainer. Now what to speak of karma? The Bhagavatam tells us that piety leads to good karma and good karma leads to happiness. And impiety or sin leads to bad karma and bad karma leads to unhappiness. It's as simple as that. You perform good activities, you will get good karma and good karma results in happiness. You perform bad activities, you will get bad karma, it will lead to trouble. Now when we are killing an animal, guess what kind of karma comes? Bad karma. Now I may think that no, I don't kill. I go to Venky's and I buy frozen chicken. I open the packet, I put it in a pot, I cook it, I eat it. I'm not killing anyone. For wonderful people like us, the scriptures that time only covered this topic. They said that there are 6 people who get the sin of an animal being killed. The first person is obviously the one who killed. The second is the one who cleaned and processed. The third is the one who cooked. The fourth is the one who served. The fifth is the one who actually ate. And the sixth is the one who financed it, who paid for it. And all these 6 get an equal share. Each of them get 1/6. तो जिसने मारा उसको भी उतना ही मिला है जिसने पे किया, और जिसने खाया, और जिसने पकाया, और जिसने साफ किया, जिसने सर्व किया. All of them get the same amount of sin. Now, are we really just for some, 10-20 minutes of tongue pleasure wanting to take up all this negative karma? I don't think so. Especially not when we have Indian culinary expertise. All of our mothers, all of our, family members, maybe all of us also, we all know how to cook so nicely. And now you have YouTube which can teach you how to cook so nicely, wonderful vegetarian preparations. So from this consideration, there is absolutely no need to eat meat. It makes us hard-hearted, and therefore it takes away the principle of mercy from our life. One of the 4 pillars of being a human being, it takes it away. We all may think that, hey, wait a minute, I know a few vegetarians in my life who are obnoxious people, and I know few meat eaters who are wonderful people. They are so sweet, they are so caring, they are so helpful. And I know some of these, vegetarians who are, and I don't know what the composition of this group is, but there are sufficient jokes of, these people. They don't, I'll not name, but these kind of people, they don't cause any blood of an animal to pour, but by their dealings they suck your blood. So we know such vegetarians. That may be, and that may be true also, but we should not indulge in that. We can be the example of vegetarians who are also kind-hearted, because here we are not just limiting it at vegetarianism. We are saying this is one principle required to improve my spiritual life, right? And that spiritual life, when that is taken care of, then I'll automatically be a gem of a person. Good qualities will come in me. The scriptures say, one who becomes a devotee of the Lord, all good qualities of the demigod come in that person. But to be able to become a devotee of the Lord, at least I need to follow this regulative principle. Right? So no meat eating. This includes eggs, by the way. For all of you who like omelette, it includes eggs, because egg may not be killing of an animal, but it's just a very unclean thing. So it affects our consciousness. Because egg is basically the menstrual cycle of a chicken. And that's supposed to, remove all these things from the body. And it's not meant for human consumption. It's not meant for anyone's consumption. So therefore, we should avoid that. Now, if you can get milk from a ahimsa source, then great. If not, then even consuming milk causes trouble to animals. But if you know a goshala that takes care of animals, that takes care of cows, and that can provide you with that milk, then it's fine. Lord Krishna loved milk. There are a lot of studies which show that milk consumption is good. But from this consideration of trouble to animals, then we should take care. The milk that we source, ahimsa milk, may be 10-20 rupees more expensive per liter than regular packet milk. But if you really want to have milk and milk products, then please find a Ahimsa source and take milk from that. There would be some, dairy or some goshala you can find which can, they have nowadays a lot of transport systems and they can provide milk to you at your doorstep wherever you are. So this is about no meat eating, one of the four regulative principles. The second, and this takes care of mercy. The other point we discussed, another principle of human life is austerity. And for that, the regulative principle that the scriptures recommend is no intoxicants. Now again, this is not very difficult to understand. And again, I bring the point back to the mind. Already my mind is going berserk. Why do I want to put more intoxicants in it to make it go more berserk? And I don't know how many of you have had alcohol in this body, but before coming to Krishna consciousness, I have had quite a bit of it. And it may make you feel good for some time, but that's it. But what is it doing? It is gradually chipping away at our consciousness. It is better. Someone is putting a heart. I don't know, that is for wanting to have alcohol or for agreeing to this point. I'm sure it is for agreeing to this point. Maybe the class is getting too heavy, I need a drink. It gradually chips away at our consciousness. It's always better to confront our, the whatever difficulty we are facing head on through the process of devotional service than it is through intoxicants. And like once Srila Prabhupada was walking and there was this man who was smoking cigarette. There was an advertisement where a man was smoking cigarette and the caption said, "It's cool to smoke Marlboro." And Prabhupada said, just look at it. He's putting smoke in his mouth and they are saying it's cool. And Prabhupada, it's not cool, it's hot. And it's just, it is so bad, these cigarette packets. That's why the government has put this thing that on the packet of a cigarette there is this photo of damaged lungs, and with bold letters it says smoking is injurious to health. And in spite of that, every year cigarette sales keep going up. So those people we don't want to follow. It's cool. This is the problem with all these movies, and I think now it's banned also, right? To show smoking in movies, it's, I don't know if it is, or at least they have to put some disclaimer there in Indian movies, something. All these actors and actresses who are smoking to show that they are cool are also getting this karma, because people who follow them, they are going to get the karma of that. Intoxicants are just not important. To come to spiritual life, we must have a clear head. And something which is classified as a depressant, that means it slows down vital functions of the body, and hence you forget your trouble. It's slowing down the vital functions of the body. Intoxicants are classified as depressants. They tend to get you out of it for some time. So it is basically anything that reduces the person's ability to think rationally. We have the story of Nal Kuber and Manigriv. They were high on alcohol and they couldn't even rationalize that here is Narad Muni standing in front of me, and they couldn't cover their body. They were so lost in their trip. So in 1965, in the mid-60s in America, there was this hippie movement where it was just, drugs, sex, rock and roll, be high. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada went to America and he coined this phrase, stay high forever. Because anyone who has gotten high on drugs or on alcohol knows that after a while you have to come down. And then you're back to your miserable world. It's like watching a 2-hour movie, if it's a good one. And you're fully engrossed in it and you forget all your other things. And as soon as it ends, oh, my life is still there. So that's what happens with intoxicants. Life is still there. So Prabhupada said, stay high forever, chant Hare Krishna. And they would actually do that. These devotees, they would catch all these hippies and they would call them in the morning, like 6 a.m. They would say, you've gotten high, no? And whole night you were high, now you're coming out, you're lowering down, you come and chant Hare Krishna. And then again your consciousness will expand. And all these hippies, these Americans with no shortage of money and no shortage of facility to get high, so many of them took to Krishna consciousness, gave up these intoxicants and gave them up for life. So the answer to giving up intoxicants, including a casual drink here and there also, is by taking to Krishna consciousness. It takes care of it. Why do we want to spoil our consciousness? It's already spoiled. Now in the Krishna consciousness movement, we don't even have tea and coffee. We sort of go extreme. Alcohol I understand, cigarette I understand, drugs to I'm not that bad. But what's wrong with my cup of coffee? And now to all these nice western chains are coming in India, and now you're saying stop coffee. Pehle to wo khali Nestle ka coffee tha. Now you go to a shop, you have such wonderful aroma. I'm sure I have enticed some of you at least to think about coffee. But ultimately it has caffeine. And caffeine is addictive. So therefore we avoid tea and coffee. Many times, what we really crave for is a hot beverage in the morning. And so a herbal tea or a herbal coffee really is a wonderful substitute to caffeine tea and caffeine coffee. I don't know how many cockroaches coffee includes. Those many times are propaganda also. But even if it does not include cockroach, if you have a cockroach free source of coffee, still you should not have it. Sometimes cockroaches come up in sambar also, if you are not careful where you are eating it from. I have seen cockroaches floating in sambar. So the point is about the whole point is that to be able to be happy in life, we have to deal with our mind. Because as the Avanti Brahman says in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam, that my enemies are not my problem, my relatives are not my problem, my health is not my problem, my bad karma is not my problem, the government is not the problem, the weather is not the problem, none of these things are problems. My real problem is my mind. Because the mind will sometimes tell me things are good in same situation, some other time the mind will tell me things are not good, and I am just like a puppet in the hands of my mind. The mind will say happy to happy, mind will say sad to sad. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but I sometimes think there's nothing wrong, why am I not happy? Yeah, there's nothing wrong, why am I feeling irritated? There's nothing wrong, why am I so, dissatisfied today? And again, after a few hours, something will happen and we are okay. Or sometimes this feeling lasts for days and weeks together. You're just irritable for no reason. You're unnecessarily thinking of something that may happen or may not happen sometime down the line. But I'm just so much clogged up with it right now. So the whole thing is to get the mind at least to be peaceful, or at least learn how to ignore the mind. Now that will not happen when we are putting stimulants like caffeine into it. When we are putting stimulants like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. What to speak of alcohol or cigarettes or drugs. So just for basic mind control, intoxicants are not good. I'm talking about caffeine, and of course those other things they can lead to sinful activities also. When you are in the influence of drugs or alcohol, you don't have control over yourself, and then many times people end up doing things that they regret later on. So Austerity, no intoxicants. The third is cleanliness, the third pillar, cleanliness. And for that, it is no illicit relationships. So, bodily relationships within the institution of marriage and not without it. So, no illicit relationships. Attraction between man and woman is very natural, but if there is that attraction, it is meant to be within the institution of marriage. And that is why there was culture earlier, because marriage was a very important aspect, and the elders would get the youngsters married in with proper considerations, and then those newly married people could live their lives along these principles. But now the very institution of marriage is questioned whether it is important or not. You know, we'll have live-in relationships, and once we are bored, we will live somewhere else. So that is animalistic. That's animalistic, because we are not supposed to have a relationship with a person which is just based on enjoyment. You know? We have to have a commitment with a person, and then after that, if there is enjoyment or no enjoyment, you fulfill that commitment. That is called as being a human being. So just because I'm bored, or just because I don't like that person anymore, well, so be it. You know, so be it. That's life, and I still have to fulfill that promise. So that is how a human being is supposed to live. These principles will bring chastity and modesty. Like in the temple, we see that we have a clear distinction. Men sit on one side, women sit on one side. Why? Because otherwise their whole consciousness will become on the bodily platform. And that's not what we are supposed to do. There are so many statistics of illicit relationships causing so much social disturbance in the world. People who indulge in those things, their interest in studies wanes, their interest in doing something important with their life wanes. There is pregnancy, then there is abortion. Abortion is so sinful, and everyone is it becomes very hellish life, because then everyone judges a person just on their body, and there are sufficient people who are just there to exploit, and it doesn't lead to anything good. So therefore there are so many stories in the scriptures, like yesterday we had this discussion on the Bhagavatam, and we spoke about the marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti, of how that was based on spiritual principles, and therefore it led to something good. So illicit relationships takes away this principle of cleanliness of the body as well as cleanliness of the mind. When my mind is always in the gutter thinking of how I can enjoy, that's what a dog does. A dog is like that, and therefore you all may have seen on the street how dogs are just shamelessly trying to enjoy themselves with anyone. So that's what pigs do. That's what birds do. That's not what human beings are supposed to do. Chanakya Pandit says that a human being is supposed to a man is supposed to see every woman apart from his wife as his mother. So it's like, he says that just like if you'll find some object on the street, someone's phone is there. If you're morally correct, you will not pick that up. Or you may pick it up and give it to somebody that isko de dena. That similarly, a person is supposed to see every other woman as nothing to do with my property, or nothing to do with anyone's property for that matter. They are to be viewed as mothers. And just like you would have respect for your mother, you should have that kind of respect for everyone of the opposite sex. Woman for man, man for woman. And there is a time and a place for bodily relationships, and that is within the institution of marriage and not otherwise. So those who are young, if you are on this call, if you just refrain from these things for some years and then enter into marriage, then life will be much better, because unclean mind is not going to lead to anything good. So this includes spacing out on the internet, on bad sites, and all these things. Uh, these are not at all good for our consciousness. There is the story of Savitri in the scriptures, how because of her chastity, her husband who was destined to die, how Satyavan, how he got his life back. Savitri had married this. She had performed a lot of austerities and had fasted, and for 18 years she had pleased the demigods, and then she got married to Satyavan. But before that marriage, the astrologers had predicted, don't do this because Satyavan is going to die in 1 year. So she said, no, now I have accepted him, I will get married to him. So then she performed at whole 1 year, took wonderful care of her husband, performed all her responsibilities, served the demigods, did everything. And at the end of 1 year, sure enough, one day her husband went, and she used to follow him every day, and he just dropped, and Yamraj came to take him. And at that time, Savitri started having a discussion with Yamraj about the law of karma, about the laws of nature, about the Shastras, and she pleased Yamraj so much that Yamraj told her, you asked me for 5 boons, anything except the life of your husband. Just passed away right now. She said, you asked me 5 boons, you have pleased me so much, you asked me 5 boons except the life of your husband. So with the first boon, she asked to cure the blindness. Her father-in-law was blind, and because he was blind, he was robbed of the kingdom. So she said, cure my father-in-law's blindness. He said, Tathastu. Second, she said, give my father-in-law's lost kingdom back to him, and may he never give up religion. Tathastu. Third, he said, my father, who did not have sons, he wanted sons, please bless him with son. Tathastu. Then she said, please bless me with 100 sons. So now it gets interesting. So Yamraj said, okay, Tathastu. And then she said, and please bless me that my chastity never gets broken. Chastity never gets broken. Chastity never gets broken, matlab, I have relation only with my husband. And then Yamraj had a big smile on his face. And he said, Tathastu. And immediately her husband came back to life. So nowadays these principles are not very much valued, but the principle of chastity is very, very great. And that is why, in our scriptures, you have the role of these amazing women who used to guide their husbands in many ways. Husbands used to ask them. Husband used to have his guru, and husband used to have his teachers. But then for many matters, they would talk to their wives. Why? Because that power of that chastity was there. You think of Kunti Maharani in the scriptures, you think of Devahuti, so many wonderful examples are there of, how the chastity of a woman makes her very powerful. So, cleanliness, no illicit relationships in the institution of marriage, and nothing beyond that. The last one, the pillar, is truthfulness. And this is easy. No gambling, no speculation, because in speculation truthfulness goes away. People who have gambling problems, they lose money, their relationships are broken, families are destroyed because of this gambling problem. There is so much stress. This includes short-term trading on stock markets also. If you want to buy a stock and keep it for a while and not worry about it, then that's maybe considered better. But definitely intraday trading and short-term trading and buying with the intention of moving it on after a month and constantly watching that index and all, that's gambling. That's things that can be avoided. Gambling problems lead people to lose everything. They even lead people to commit suicide. There is a reason why the gambling match is mentioned in Mahabharata. Instructions are sometimes given using good examples and sometimes using bad examples. And sometimes bad examples drive home the point in a better way. So Yudhishthir Maharaj gambling is like that. But even in that, Yudhishthir Maharaj gambled not because he lost control of himself. There were various reasons. The first was, Yudhishthir Maharaj, like if you read Mahabharata or even if you've seen B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, it is still very much accurate. You see that Arjun and Bhim regularly would get irritated at one quality of Yudhishthir. That was he had taken this vow, I will always follow what the elders say. And sometimes when the elders would not say right thing, he would still follow. So when Dhritarashtra invited him for the gambling match, he had to follow. Because elder ne bulaya hai. That was one reason. But even in that he protested. And he told Dhritarashtra, actually a gambling will not lead to anything good. But because he insisted, then he had to do. Then the Mahabharata shows that even the person who is so virtuous as Yudhishthir got carried away. Now, I don't know about you, but there's not much virtue in me. So I should definitely not come anywhere close to anything which has speculation. Yudhishthir got carried away, and even in that, he avoided putting Draupadi at stake till he even put himself. He lost himself, and then he put Draupadi. That time Draupadi, she protested that Yudhishthira has lost himself. He is a slave of Duryodhana. How can he have any right on me? And everyone looked at Bhishma and they all were silent. And of course, this was Krishna's bigger plan to show that ultimately only Krishna can protect. So, although Draupadi had these 5 powerful husbands and there was Bhishma and there was Drona and there were all these people there, ultimately only Krishna can protect. So, this was to show all these things. But suffice it to say, even a virtuous person like Yudhishthir Maharaj got carried away by gambling. What to speak of any of us? So it takes away this whole principle of truthfulness. And where is their sense control when their truthfulness is lost? So therefore these 4 principles: no meat eating, because that will take away the principle of mercy. No intoxication, it will take away the principle of austerity. No illicit relationships, it takes away the principle of cleanliness of the body, of the mind. All these various diseases happen because of it. And no gambling, it takes away the principle of truthfulness. So therefore the scriptures again and again they tell us sense control is very important. If you really want to be free in life, you should control your senses. I will share my screen once again and we'll read one of the subsequent verses. We read 64. If we come to 68. Yeah. Krishna says, Tasmadyasya mahabaho nigritani sarvasha indriyan indriyarthebhyas tasya pragya pratishtita. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport, one can curb the forces of sense gratification only by means of Krishna consciousness or engaging all the senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As enemies are curbed by superior force, the senses can similarly be curbed, not by any human endeavor, but only by keeping them engaged in the service of the Lord. One who has understood this, that only by Krishna consciousness is one really established in intelligence, and that one should practice this art under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, is called a sadhaka, or a suitable candidate for liberation. And if we go to the 66th verse, Krishna says, Nasti buddhir ayuktasya na chayuktasya bhavana na chabhyavayata shantir ashantasya kuta sukham. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? So therefore the solutions to be able to follow these regulative principles are all spiritual. These regulative principles are required just to come on the platform of a human being so that we can take to spirituality. But to be able to follow properly, we need the backing of Krishna consciousness, spirituality. Then we will be able to follow these regulative principles very easily. I come from a family, in my childhood, I used to have meat. In my youth, I got carried away with my friends. We had alcohol. So all these things were there. Coffee. Coffee was like a everyday activity. Before going to college, have a cup of coffee. So it's, if I can do it, anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. If all these hippies who, at least till my time, illicit relations were very much, not, even normal people would not advise those things. So we didn't get carried away, thankfully, by those. But in current generation, even that is, people are falling prey to it. But for everyone, even if we have broken all these 4 regulative principles in life, it is not a problem. If right now we are willing to accept the instructions of Lord Krishna and the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is water under the bridge. So if we have done any of these things, we should not feel, oh my God, it disqualifies me from everything. What is the use? Chalo band karo, exit this Zoom meeting and let's sulk. No. If the hippies could do it, who broke all 4 regulative principles, anyone can do it. So, but how can it be done? It can be done by replacing it with something positive. It has to be replaced with something positive, and that positive is Krishna consciousness. So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada has given us this formula of A, B, C, D. Because a lot of these regulative principles are broken because of the first thing, A, association. When we have the association of people who are going to eat meat, we will eat meat. I never ate meat till I was in 7th standard. In 7th standard, I had one person who became a very good friend. He was my benchmate. I don't know how schools are, but in our times there used to be a bench where 2 people used to sit. So he was my bench partner, benchmate. And he was one of those guys, ki whatever I am doing, everyone should also do. So he was like, "Tu non-veg nahi khata?" And throughout that 7th standard, he every day kept eating my head by either ridiculing vegetarianism or telling me how good non-veg tastes, especially on a Monday morning. Pata hai meri mummy ne kal kya banaya? And then he would go on, And after a while, I just had too much of it, and I had to just, fight with my mother and tell her, no, you don't want to cook, that's okay, but order it for me, I will eat. And that's how it started. So, association. We should have good association. Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to learn stock market, you should associate yourself with people who are into that, who are always going to talk about that. If you want to become a drunkard, you associate with people who drink alcohol. If you want to become a devotee, you associate with people who are going to talk about Krishna, who follow that and who are going to talk about it. So association of devotees, and not having association of people who specifically break these regulative principles. Chanakya Pandit said that for a person, for a man, what is more dangerous than the association of a loose woman, or even for a woman, what is more dangerous than the association of a loose man is a person who is engaged in those activities. That's even worst, because then that person is always going to talk about that. and that person is always going to pollute our mind. So therefore Rupa Goswami says in his Nectar of Instruction, in the second verse, that 6 things a devotee should avoid. One of them, he says, is avoid the association of non-devotees. People who are going to break these regulative principles, let's keep them at arm's length. Now someone may say, my husband या my wife only eats meat. क्या करें? कैसे उनको दूर रखें? That's okay. At least those, apart from those near and dear ones, other people we can avoid their association too much. And more important than avoiding their association is getting good association of devotees. So we get association of people who are going to tell us about Krishna, who are going to encourage us to perform spiritual activities, read Bhagavad Gita. That's very important. There were these 2 birds. They were born of the same mother. They were twins. They both were caught by one merchant who used to sell birds. He put them in 2 different cages, and they were sold to 2 different people. And one day he just happened to visit, and he saw that one bird was sold in an ashram. In an ashram outside, this bird was there, and these people inside the ashram, they were regularly reciting scripture. So this bird also was, the parrot, the bird was also repeating scripture. The other bird was sold to a butcher, not to kill, but for his just, to see something good while he kills. And that parrot, when he went there, this parrot was just saying, "Pakad, maro, kato, jaldi kato, swiftly kato." And this fellow was like, amazed. Same genes, same parentage, everything same, but association. So, no matter what our karma is, no matter what our past is, no matter what genes we have, if we keep good association, we can progress in spiritual life. If we keep bad association, we will get pulled down. That's A, association. The B that Prabhupada tells us is books. So when we read Shastra, it purifies our consciousness, because these are words of God. When we read Bhagavad Gita, today I was listening to a lecture of Srila Prabhupada in the morning, and Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada was, I think, in Kurukshetra, and he was talking about the Bhagavad Gita. And he said, actually, Bhagavad Gita is a basic book of spirituality. And there are higher and higher books on spirituality. Bhagavad Gita is very basic. And then he said, but the highest books of current times don't even compare to something that was considered basic 5,000 years ago. So that is the power of Bhagavad Gita for us right now. For us, it is the most easily relatable and understandable scripture. Srimad Bhagavatam has a lot of intricate details, whereas Bhagavad Gita has applicable principles. So it's the law book, it is spoken by God. We have to have that much faith that Krishna is not an ordinary person, he is not a mythological figure. Mythology is when you try and run with a cart on a railway station and go head on into a pillar and you come out in some other world. That is mythology. Harry Potter. But if you try and do that at your Bandra station or Andheri station or wherever in the country you are, then also you will go into another world. But when you open your eyes, you will be in a hospital and you'll have a concussion. If you are lucky, nothing else will happen. But at least a concussion will happen. Because that doesn't exist. You can't go into pillars and come out on some other world. That's fiction. But if I wish to go to Kurukshetra today, I can go. I can drive to Kurukshetra, I can take a train to Kurukshetra, I can fly to Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra exists. If I want to go to Ayodhya today, I can go. If I want to go to Vrindavan today, it's how much? 1100 kilometers away from Mumbai. 1200, whatever. If I want to go to Lanka, it exists. If I want to see the Setu Bandhan, NASA images show me that it is there. And still the British had the nerve to call our scriptures as mythology, and our modern day quote unquote Hindus have the complete dumbness to still call it mythology. If it's mythology, I can find some principles in Harry Potter also that J.K. Rowling writes about being a good person. And I can quote that. वो Philosopher's Stone में ये चैप्टर में ऐसा बोला गया है. हैरी पॉटर ने बोला है कि उसने मुझे दुख दिया पर मैं दुख नहीं दूंगा. And then you quote, Harry Potter said this. Someone will laugh at you. What's wrong with you? But if I call Bhagavad Gita mythology, that's what I'm doing. किसी की कल्पना थी कृष्ण, कृष्ण कोई नहीं है. किसी की कल्पना थी अर्जुन, अर्जुन कोई नहीं है. कुरुक्षेत्र अभी है पर 5000 साल पहले नहीं था. So that's foolishness. These are true. How much more proof do we want? Everything is there in front of our eyes. So we have to accept that these books are scripture. They are about the pastimes of the Lord. They are about the instructions of the Lord. And when I read them, they do inner engineering. Inner engineering is not just physical yoga. Inner engineering is actually reading the philosophy of the scripture. It is like God is talking to you. Every time we open a page of the Bhagavad Gita and read a verse spoken by Krishna, it is just like when Krishna was speaking to Arjun. Krishna is sitting next to us and speaking in our ear. Now what can be more blessed and purifying than that? And therefore we purify ourselves every day by reading scripture. People purify themselves by taking a bath. When Prabhupada used to speak in America, he used to say, you Americans take bath once a week. At least in India, our people still take bath 3 times a day. Well, now our people in India, including me, we don't take bath 3 times a day. But at least, hopefully, all of us, 150 people here, take bath at least once a day. Then you take it one step higher. And all of us can do this, The scriptures say that even if you can't go to the Ganga, when you're taking bath and you say Ganga, 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 it's as if you are taking bath with Ganga. You get the benefit of that. Because sound vibration, in Kali Yuga, sound vibration has so much potency. But chalo, you went to Ganga, you went to Varanasi, or you went to Prayag, or you went to Mayapur, and you took a dip in Ganga. That's more purifying than taking bath with BMC water. Right? More purifying than that is taking bath with the sound vibration of the Shastra. With the sound vibration of the words that the Supreme Lord Himself spoke in Bhagavad Gita, or the words of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the words of the Ramayana. That's even more purifying. So therefore we purify our consciousness every day by taking bath from the sound vibration of the Shastra. Our mind, our intelligence becomes sharpened. This uncontrolled mind, regularly when we hear Shastra, it gets purified. It comes under our control, under the control of the soul. So therefore reading Shastra, reading Prabhupada's books every Sunday is very important. But more important than that is reading it every day. Every day 5 minutes, let us remove time and read the scriptures. Every day 5 minutes. Just like we remove time to brush our teeth every day, we should be doing twice, but I'm sure most of you don't do twice. You do once, but you should do twice. See, you learn some practical things also when you come for class. Brushing teeth is very important. But just like we remove time to brush our teeth and take bath, we have to remove time. If we want to cleanse our consciousness, we want to do inner engineering, we should remove time to read scripture every day. Every day. Just 5 minutes every day. Our Vaisheshika Prabhu says, be a sage page by page. So page by page, improve our consciousness by reading scripture. The third one is very, very practical, doable, which is chanting. C is for chanting. And when we chant, again, just like we are bathing in the sound vibration of Krishna's words, when we read scripture, when we are chanting, we are bathing in the sound vibration of Krishna. Of Krishna. Because Krishna and his holy name are non-different. They are absolutely the same. Krishna and his holy name are the same. Kali Kale Naam Roop Krishna Avatar. Krishna has taken avatar in Kali Yuga in the form of Naam Roop, in the form of the holy name. Therefore we say Hari Naam Prabhu. So when we are chanting Hare Krishna, basically Krishna, who is present in his sound vibration, is cleansing ourselves. He's cleansing our mind. He's cleansing our consciousness. He's sharpening our intelligence. He's developing devotion for himself in our heart when we chant Hare Krishna. So it is so important to be chanting Hare Krishna every day. If we are not chanting, let us take a vow to start chanting one round. If we are chanting one round or 4 rounds, let us try and increase it by 1 round. If we are chanting 16 rounds, let us try and chant 16 good quality rounds. But if scope of improvement in chanting is endless, and I have seen many senior devotees in our movement who have developed such taste for chanting Hare Krishna that all they want to do is just chant all the time. That's proof that love of Krishna is easily possible, is easily achievable just by chanting nicely. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has invested love of God in the holy name. All we have to do is avoid the offenses to the holy name, try and be as attentive as possible, and try and be as prayerful as possible when we chant. So even if you are not liking chanting, when pray to Krishna, although I'm not liking it, I want to do it because that is what would make you happy. Chanting Hare Krishna would make the Lord happy. It is pleasing when Krishna hears, oh, there are these 150 people who come for Mahapati Ram Prabhu's Sunday morning session and they all chant. And they're all chanting right now. That pleases the Lord. And when we please the Lord and when we develop a connection with the Lord, gradually auspiciousness comes in our life. Auspiciousness develops in our life. But then even if bad karma is there, it's tolerable, it's manageable, it's handleable when we chant Hare Krishna nicely. So if you have not started chanting, please start chanting. And don't just say, "Main man mein chant karta hu." Chant in the way it is meant to be chanted, which is to sit with a mala in your hand and in the way of counting, we chant audibly. Audibly means at least I should be able to hear what I am chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like that. And then I will make tangible progress. If you're not chanting, start chanting 1 round. It doesn't take much time. And if you are, then try and improve the quality of our chanting. If you're chanting 4 rounds, continue to chant 4 rounds, but try and improve your quality of chanting. And when you feel right, then increase it by 1 round or by 2 rounds. If you're chanting 16 rounds, those of you, try and improve the quality of that. So, I mean, you can go on talking about the importance of chanting. It's endless. When Hanumanji and Lord Ram was giving gifts to everybody, and he gave away everything, and then when Hanumanji came, Lord Ram said, "Hanuman, what do I give you? No, whatever I give you, it is incomplete. You have served me so much. You have won my heart." So Hanuman said, "No, I still want something." What? He said, "I want the first right to your holy name. Your holy name is mine. All other things you give people, your holy name you give me." And it is described how Lord Ram had this huge smile on his face. That Hanuman has understood that Lord Ram and Ram Nam are same. In fact, Ram Nam is more powerful than Ram. As was exemplified when the monkeys were writing Ram on rocks and putting it. And when Ram tried to throw rocks without his name, the rocks were sinking in the water. But when these monkeys were putting Ram Nam on the rocks and throwing it, the rocks had life. So that's the importance of the name of the Lord. And we must take it every day, just like we take bath every day, we must chant in a regulated manner. We can have our मन में चलता है chanting all the time. I am chanting प्रभु जी मेरा तो जप ही चलता है, कभी कभी जप से छोड़ के मुझे काम करना पड़ता है, पर नहीं तो मन में चलते रहता है वो जप. Let that go on, but let's also come to this proper technique of chanting. Let us sit properly and chant. Let's do that also. So that is C for chanting, and D is diet, the easiest of them four. We will eat ourselves back to Godhead by just honoring prasad. So when we spoke about no killing of animals, no eating meat, it's not enough to just be vegetarian, because even plants have life. So therefore, we offer our food to Krishna. And when we do that, then the Lord takes away whatever sin is there in that. And not just that, He puts His mercy into that food. Therefore, it's called prasad. The word prasad means mercy. Right? So we eat food which is offered to Krishna. So even if that is not possible for everyone to physically do, suppose say you're eating out or you're eating in a tiffin, as long as it's vegetarian food, in your mind you make a prayer to Krishna that although I'm not able to put it in a nice plate and put a tulsi leaf, you still accept. But wherever there is facility, we should do that. We should have a separate plate. It doesn't have to be a chandi ka plate, it can be a steel plate also. But a separate plate for the Lord, separate bowls, a separate glass for water, offer, put everything in that. Cook with that mood that I'm not cooking for my wife or my husband or my children. I am ultimately cooking for Krishna. And then offer it to the Lord, put tulsi leaves, and then there are these mantras for offering which are very simple, very easy to learn. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namo. That's one of them. And even if you don't know mantras, you can just with a very devotional mood just request the Lord to accept. Like there was this one priest, one day he had to go, there's a true story in Orissa. He had to go somewhere during the noon time. So he told his son, small child, 6-7-year-old child, he told him that today I can't offer the noon offering, so please you do. So the son said, okay, theek hai Papa, I have seen you doing, I will do. So that day he took some laddu and something, and he put the plate in front of the deity of Krishna in the temple. He rang the bell. He had seen his father reciting mantras, heard him, he had memorized those mantras, he was reciting mantra. And then after 5 minutes he opened his eyes, the food was there only. So he said, hey, kya ho gaya? Bhagwan ne accept nahi kiya. Again he started the whole process, reciting mantras. He doesn't know the meaning of any of these mantras, but he's heard his father doing it, so he's doing it. Again after reciting, after a minute he opened his eyes, everything is right there. So then now he said, but what he had seen was Pitaji is offering. After that, what Pitaji would do with the plate, he had not seen. So he thought that offering and pura plate khali ho jana chahiye. So then he became desperate. He said, Lord, see, if you don't eat, my father is going to get angry at me. And he will think that, maine khilaya nahi. But I am to feeding you, you are not eating, you please eat. And like that he started pleading the Lord, please Lord, you please eat, you please, this is made for you, it is for you, it is about whatever is there, it's all yours. And this is from the trees which you have only given, this is from the plants which you have only given, this is from the cows ka ghee which you have only given, water is given by you, everything, please take, please take. And then actually the deity stretched his hand and took the whole laddu and ate it. And plate was khali. And he went, thank you, thank you, thank you. And he went back. Evening the father came. He said, okay, did you offer? He said, yes, Pitaji, I offered. Okay, so where is the prasad? What prasad? वो लड्डू किधर है जो ऑफर किया था? भगवान ने खा लिया. He said, खा लिया मालूम है भगवान ने खा लिया, है किधर? अरे खा लिया तो किधर है वो? खा लिया. So then he thought, चलो मेरा बेटा है, खा लिया होगा खुद ही, या तो भूल गया या तो खुद ही खा लिया होगा, no problem. ओके ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, tomorrow also मुझे जाना है ना, तुम ऑफरिंग करना. He said, okay. But next day he didn't have to go anywhere. He hid behind the temple, and from the side he was watching कि कर क्या रहा है. And when he saw this whole thing again, mantra, bell, nothing, mantra, bell, nothing, and then pleading and pleading and pleading and requesting the Lord, it's yours, you please take, you please take, you please take. And then he saw, the deity's hand moved and he took it. At that point, this father went into ecstasy, and he just went and he hugged his child and he was glorifying the Lord. That that basically my child's devotion is so much more than mine, because for me you never did this, but for him you are doing that. So Prabhupada says, people will ask us, अरे तुम offering कर रहे हो किधर, ऐसा इधर ही है. So we sing every day, Angani yasya sakalendriya priti manti, that the Lord can perform any activity with any sense. So when we offer food, Krishna eats with his eyes. And he's looking at that food and he's seeing if it is offered with love. And if it is offered with love, then Krishna is accepting with his eyes. And he's leaving his mercy behind in the form of that food which is still there. So this is the benefit of offering food. So we should. And if we do these 4 things, associate with devotees, read Srila Prabhupada's books, chant Hare Krishna and offer food and eat prasad, then gradually these 4 regulative principles of no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling and no illicit sex will become very easy to follow. And once those become easy to follow, these 4 principles of humanity, which is truthfulness, austerity, mercy and cleanliness, become naturally followed. And thus we come to the platform of being human beings, and we go beyond that platform to becoming actual devotees of the Lord. And at that platform of being devotees of the Lord, as Krishna says in this verse, a person can be happy. A person can only be happy on the platform of being a devotee of the Lord. Right? So to be happy in life, we should take to these principles of devotional service, follow these 4 restrictions, aided by these 4 spiritual points, association, books, chanting and diet, and by that we can be freed from whatever is troubling us in life. Auspiciousness of the association of the Lord gets created in our heart, and then there will be happiness. Otherwise, without auspiciousness, how can there be happiness in life? Okay, so this was about this verse. Thank you very much for staying throughout the session, and if anyone has any question, we can discuss now. Hare Krishna. Mahapati Prabhu, how should we do?
Yes, Prabhuji. We have asked everyone to raise hands so then they can ask their questions. A couple of hands are already raised. Sanjeev Prabhuji is there, and yeah, we see few hands already. Sanjeev Prabhuji, you can start by asking the question.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much
Hare
for
Krishna.
such a wonderful session. Hare Krishna. You mentioned in today's session that even short-term trading in the stock market is considered as gambling. Now, a lot of people, are doing this on a full-time basis to earn a living. And similarly, people are in professions, for example, a butcher, he's doing it to earn a living, to support his family. So what does that mean? I mean, are these people condemned to committing a sin? Or because today in our country, there aren't so many job opportunities. What's the unemployment like? So to tell them, okay, go find something better is not something, it's not an option in our country at least. And the state doesn't support you either. So what's your take on that? I mean, how would you advise such people? What's their future? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sanjeev ji. So regarding the stock market, see, the reason why short-term trading is harmful is because it diverts our consciousness towards that, and then we're constantly just thinking of that. So if someone is doing that as a profession, in the sense that they are advising people to do those things, that would be one thing. Because just 1 second, don't do that. That would be one thing, but for us to do it, uh, we can avoid it. We should have that much faith that the money that is due to me will come. Whether I invest it in a short term stock and keep monitoring it, or if I invest it in something and take care of it after some time, the financial gains that are there for me in this life will come. I should work hard and I should lead an honest living, and then these the reason why people get into the stock market is to earn something extra. So those can be avoided, because the problem is that then that speculative mind goes into other things also, and those can be harmful. Whereas when it comes to something like a butcher, or like having a alcohol shop, uh, then those professions need to be given up, because there is the element of sin in them. So again, you raise the point of unemployment. Now, a person like a butcher could get employment in many other things also, because there would be many other labor intensive roles that that person can do, if that person is hardworking. But again, if we take it to the point of karma, then even that person will also get his share of karma in terms of livelihood, whether that person accepts the profession of a butcher or something else. So if we understand that what is due to me in this life is going to come, then why not earn it through non-sinful means? So some people may be unfortunate enough to not know these things, but at least when they know them, then they should try and change. I know devotees who've been working for companies which, like butcher is something which is very gross, but you could be working for a company which does these things, and your role could be in accounts, for example. Still, I have known devotees who move jobs because they think that ultimately my profession is indirectly leading this company to move forward, which is, for example, into meat selling, processed meat or alcohol or something like that. So, when I know that my livelihood is going to come to me, I should want to earn it through honest means and through unsinful means. All of us in this life, the quota of money that we are going to earn, or the quota of happiness or distress that we are going to get, is backed up by our past life's karma. So when that is there, when there is meant to be a lean period, there will be a lean period. And when there is meant to be a better period, there will be a better period. Either way, at least we should think in the way of, I should not do anything sinful that brings this to me. So therefore, if it is, see, the gambling, the stock trading is not sinful. Its result is not very good for us in terms of being speculative. But something like meat, that is sinful. So we have to find a better source of livelihood.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thanks. But how does that work for a householder who has a family to support, and he's the only breadwinner, so to say? It's not just for himself. He has to support a family as well, and there is nothing immediate that he can understand or get into, which will be considered as being sinless. So it's not something that happens immediately, and yet the fact is that he has his responsibility towards his family. I mean, he could do it for himself and say, yeah, I will rather move into some other profession, but there's a family that's there that needs to be supported. How does it work like that then? I mean, if you could
So this
if you could
question,
guide us there, please.
Mrigari was a hunter, and when Narad Muni told him that, hey, you should not be doing all this, you should not be hunting, it's not good for you. So Mrigari told the same thing to Narad Muni. Okay, I'll stop, but by hunting, I'm feeding my family. what will happen to them? So Narad said, then they will also get the sin, because they are eating something from a profession which is sinful. They are also going to share that sin. So you go and ask your wife if she is ready to accept that sin. सो मृगारी वॉज वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट है ना, क्या वो तो हाँ बोलेगी, मैं मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, आधा तो वो लेगी ना, मेरा आधा पैसा लेती है तो आधा ये भी लेगी पाप. सो ही वेंट एंड शी सेड, नो 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 नो, आई नेवर टोल्ड यू टू डू हंटिंग. You are my husband, you have to provide. ये sin win I am not going to take. So then he came back and Narad said, see, and then Narad challenged him. Narad said, you stop hunting. And if there is one day that you cannot provide for your family, I will personally come and feed you. So that, again, the conception that I am able to feed my family by my profession. My profession is a means through which I am able to feed my family. But the cause of my ability to be able to do that are my karmas, my past life's activities. Now, somebody, Mr. A, may be able to just give his family dal rice once a day. And Mr. B may be able to give opulent food as much as they want, as many times as they want. And Mr. C may struggle to make ends meet. So that is their karma. But depending on that, it is going to come. So what that person should do is at least ensure that the profession is sinless as far as possible. In Kali Yuga, nothing is sinless. But something as gross as one of these professions should be avoided, and nobody who chooses to be more noble in life will be a loser. Because if you take such a decision of wanting to do something good, there will be reciprocation. So being a butcher is not something which is a very technical profession that this person cannot do something else. So yeah, that's just what I had to say on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thanks, Prabhuji. So Gokul Prabhuji, Rohan, Atishi Mataji, and Ashwini Mataji with 4 hands raised. Gokul Prabhuji, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. It's a general question, like when we are coming to the Krishna conscious, that people come with different mindset. One is for the material gains, or the other one is for the devotion of. We are chanting of engaging in service. How do we engage with faith without having any material? Like, how do we engage with faith?
Could you repeat your question? I couldn't hear it properly. How do we?
It's a general one only, Prabhuji. Like when we are engaging with Krishna conscious, like when we are doing chanting, reading scriptures.
Just 1 second, Prabhu. Just 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, can you repeat, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. The thing is, like when we are reading, chanting, or when we are engaging any Krishna Katha or anything, how do we engage with this faith or bhakti? Like we can also just do it as a duty, but how do we engage with faith? Like believing the Krishna is the ultimate hope for us. Like because when we are unable to control our mind or anything, we repeatedly fall inside any traps or anything like. So how do we believe that Krishna is the only faith or the only hope for us?
Krishna is the only hope.
Yeah,
There's
repeatedly
one
because
more religion which replaces the word Krishna with something else and says Dash is the only hope. So see, if I can just rephrase your question, and if let me know if this is what you mean, is when I chant or when I read, how can I be more conscious of Krishna? Is that what you are trying to ask?
yeah, definitely,
Okay.
Prabhu. Yeah.
So that will happen when we do that nicely, and that will also happen when we constantly remind ourselves. Because see, in this lifetime, till the time we've come to Krishna consciousness, we've lived a life in a way where we are not that God conscious of God. The only person we are always conscious of is ourselves. We are quite self-centered, all of us. That's why we have, this false ego, it is called. Ego means identity. False ego means identity as a body. So, we have to constantly remind ourselves again and again and again that Krishna is present in His holy name. In fact, in every round when we chant, we should remind ourselves Krishna is present in His holy name. Every time we open a page of Bhagavad Gita, just before we are opening it, we should remind ourselves this is spoken by Krishna. Because many times what happens is while reading Gita, we will read also for 15-20 minutes and then it will not be with that mood that these are the words of the Supreme Lord. When we chant Hare Krishna, many times rounds go by and then we figure out, मैंने तो सुना ही नहीं अच्छे से. So it requires reminding ourselves again and again. Remind ourselves that Krishna is present in the holy name. Krishna is present in the form of the deity or in the photograph. Krishna is present in the Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita. This prasad which I have offered has been honored by Krishna and I am going to accept it. We have to keep, and then gradually as we progress more and more in Krishna consciousness, then that the sort of the conception that Krishna is present in this becomes stronger and stronger. Yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, Prabhu, I understood. Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhu. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Rohan Prabhuji? Yeah, Rohan. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, my question is regarding chanting. So I'm not chanting 16 rounds right now, but I'm chanting 8 rounds. How I can maintain quality in consistency in quality of chanting, Prabhuji? Because 2-3 days, that is the maximum time that maximum 2-3 days chanting goes good, and after 3 days. Uh, very natural tendency while chanting other things what I have to do by after chanting and other things some past stories or something starts coming in our mind, and it is very difficult to let them stop and start focusing on chanting. And just because I am not able to do that, gradually the whole chanting becomes very weak, and then again after 4-5 days, weeks, chanting is not good. So when that good quality of chanting is achieved, how to not get fall from that chanting, and how to get also to that quality chanting? Can you please
You are
guide
saying
in that?
2-3 days you are able to chant nicely. You are very fortunate. Because if for 2-3 days you are able to chant nicely, that's very good. That's Krishna's mercy on you. So you should be happy and keep that up. But some things that you could do is every day before chanting, you can pray to the Lord that I am going to start your chanting right now, chanting your name right now. You please bless me. I know my mind is nonsense, it goes in all directions. You please right now bless me that I am able to chant properly. That's one thing you can do. Even during chanting, as whenever we realize that our mind has gone here and there, see what happens many times. Devotees are in a rush to complete their rounds. कैसे ना कैसे करके खत्म करना है. And then that whole process that this is my time with the holy name, this is my time with Krishna's name. We are not in that mood. That this is my 1 hour with Krishna. That's not the mood. The mood is often, especially if we are chanting while we are walking or while we are traveling or while there is noise at home, it's very difficult to have that mood. Still, we should continue chanting. But if there is facility where we can get up early in the morning and we can sit in one place and chant, then at least we should have this kind of a mood. This is my time with Krishna. How is it with Krishna? Because Krishna is fully there in the holy name. And so regularly reminding myself, even during chanting, 2, 3, 4, 5 times every time during chanting, if I can remind myself that Krishna is present in the holy name and this is my time with Krishna, then it's easier for the mind to accept. The third thing is that during chanting we should just ignore the mind, because all that clutter is the mind's talking. Chapar, 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 the mind does. So we should ignore the mind as far as possible. And sometimes, like our Bhurijan Prabhu, he gives this sankalpa. He says we should take a sankalpa before we start chanting, that my dear mind, do not disturb me. I want to spend the next half an hour or next 1 hour listening to Krishna's name. You please don't trouble me. Also, what can be done is the mind can be chastised sometimes. You nonsense mind, you keep quiet. So all these things while chanting, while chanting, you just take a 2-3 second pause whenever the क्या हो रहा है आज तो कुछ ध्यान ही नहीं है. Krishna, please help me, please protect your mind. Yeah, please mind, you please cooperate. Yeah, mind, you please don't trouble me so much. All these things can be done. This is not like mental person talking. This is your conversation with your mind, because you are not your mind. That's why you can have a conversation with your mind, because you are not the mind, you're the soul. And then one other thing that helps a lot is regularly listening to some japa talks or reading books about chanting. There are so many wonderful devotees like Radhesham Prabhu and Amog Leela Prabhu, Mohan Roop Prabhu, Rukmani Krishna Prabhu. Many devotees are there, Bhurijan Prabhu, who have lot of talks on chanting. And we can listen to them. Those are usually short talks, and either the night before or that day in the morning, even while you're bathing, before you chant, you can listen to some talks on chanting. That helps. Vaisheshika Prabhu gives a nice suggestion. He says that good chanting starts the previous night. When you read something spiritual, you go to sleep on time and you keep your the setting for the next day ready. You know where you're going to sit. Your beads are there. Maybe a bottle of water is there, and you get up early and you chant. So when we do all these things little by little, then definitely chanting helps. Even after doing all these things, there can be times where chanting can be very poor. We just have to chant. Lifetimes of listening to the mind is there, so let's not worry about it. Let's chant. But let us try and do these things so that chanting becomes better.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
Rohan.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Are you from Mumbai?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thane.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
See you sometime.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Atashi Mataji, yeah, you can ask, and then Ashwini Vadkar.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanavad.
During the session, you said that, like I never knew this before. After I started reading Bhagavad Gita regularly, every day one chapter, um, like I got to know that I was a non-vegetarian, and for more than a year, I stopped eating. I mean, I am a vegetarian, complete vegetarian, and I have stopped taking tea, coffee, everything. But
Wow.
the thing is, I am a mother, and I live with my husband. We too are vegetarian, but the thing is, children live away from home, so they keep visiting, and then the relatives keep visiting. So today I got to know that eating meat is not only sinful, but also cooking, then serving, then paying money, financing is also sinful. So I have a question. Okay, cook is there, she is cooking, but then serving. So should I avoid serving also? I mean, this is where I am confused. Like, what should I?
See,
Children
yeah.
don't stay with me, so they come, they visit, and then if I don't even serve the food, so will it not be rude? So that's a confusion in my mind. What
It's
should be
very
done?
easy. It's very easy, Mataji, when it comes to children and family members, because they know you, they love you. And if you tell
Yeah.
them that these are my beliefs and I don't want to do, I will serve you everything else, but this thing you please take on your own. There should be no reason why they should feel bad, because they love you.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. when it comes to some guests outside of close people, then nobody is ever going to be sad if you provide them with a wonderful vegetarian meal. If our prime minister, when he gets big heads of state also, doesn't serve meat to them, what is the, no, there's no issue. You can always say हम मोदी जी को follow कर रहे हैं, and you are our guest and we want to serve you the best of vegetarian cuisine. And when it comes to children and family members, they love you, so they will be supportive with your decision. And actually, what is more important than serving food is loving talk, loving conversation, sharing concern, asking them for what is, how is their life going, and sharing loving. The thing that the world misses now is concern and love. And when your kids get that from you, butter chicken is insignificant in comparison to that. So what would be worst is, like if you ask me कि प्रभु जी बच्चे आते हैं और मेरा वो टाइम पे गीता पढ़ती हूँ मैं, एंड बच्चे आ गए, नो दैट टाइम माता जी आप गीता बंद करो और बच्चों से बात करो, एंड यू टॉक टू देम, give them your concern, give them your love, ask them, give them your love, because that's what they will never get from others, what they can get from their parents. So that's what we should do. And that when we do that, they may also be at one point of time inspired to accept some of these things. So show love, that's more important.
Yeah, that is
And
there.
don't serve meat.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Ashwini Wadkar Mataji.
So if you want to ask a question, your
Hare-
video should be on, because otherwise we can't see you. I can only, Akashvani is there. Yeah. Yes.
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Actually, my question was similar to the previous Mataji's question, but the problem is that my husband is atheist and I have to cook eggs for him. And if I will not cook, he will start this arguing with me. Actually, he is allowing me to do spiritual practices, so better to avoid arguing. I cook eggs for him. So I don't know what to do. You told that cooking also share the same. Please guide. And sorry, second question is also there.
This question, Mataji, will not be the answer will not be justified in a public forum in 2 minutes. So what I would advise you is you take Mahapati Ram Prabhu's time and schedule some time for a proper discussion with him, and he will be able to nicely guide you in this regard.
Okay, Prabhuji. Second
Because
question is short question.
it's a more sensitive thing, so better you talk to him.
Yes, Prabhuji. Second short question is there, Prabhuji, only. Investing in mutual fund is also means gambling or what? Because we invest in mutual funds, Prabhuji, that's that.
Anything that has a speculative nature is called gambling. Now we should understand what is the principle behind this, rather than the just what is in front. The principle behind it is that we should not come into this mood of thinking that I can make gains from these things, because then what will happen is my consciousness will be diverted. It's the point is of diverting consciousness for easy gains. That should not be there. So whether it is a mutual fund or a stock or anything like that, if my consciousness is going to this, then what is it indirectly doing is, Krishna is not my maintainer. This mutual fund short-term gain is my maintainer, or the stock turnaround is my maintainer. And then my consciousness goes more in that direction. Hence it is to be avoided. There are a lot of mutual funds which are not of that nature. There are a lot of mutual funds which once you put, it's going to be there and all. Those are different. Here we are purely talking about things which I get a tip and I think that हाँ ये करो, ये 2 महीने में बढ़ेगा, and then वो 2 महीने में मेरा consciousness वहाँ पे है. It's more about the consciousness. When it comes to these investments, see, when it comes to gambling in cards or in games and all, that's everyone will accept that should not be done. It is completely, 50-50 chance of me winning or losing, because there's no, it's anyone's game, right? But when it comes to these things, then it's more subtle. If you can put it and not worry about it, then it's different. But if you're constantly going to do that, then constantly your attention is on that, then that's sort of speculative in nature.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, we don't watch the portfolio also, that mutual fund. Only we pay SIP. Once in a 6 month, I check only that it is in, means correctly it is going on. That's it. We don't check it regularly also.
That's fine, Mataji. With
Okay,
that, you
Prabhuji.
do some SIP for Krishna also.
Yes,
Whenever
yes,
an
Prabhuji.
SIP gets cut for a mutual fund, one SIP should go to the temple donation also.
Yes, Prabhuji. Every month I do that, Prabhuji. Donations.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
So I hope
thank
the
you.
principle is clear. It's not about the actual. Then someone will ask, "Oh, Axis Bank mutual fund speculative hai ki Tata speculative?" It's not about that. It's about how am I thinking about it. If I can put it and leave it, then that's fine. Second thing, I should be fully confident that the amount of money that is due to me will come. So I should work hard, I should work nicely, but if I think that ठीक है ये savings मिल रहा है इससे भी मैं पैसे कमाता हूँ, that's also fine. But with that, I should not put my consciousness and get disturbed by it. So Mahabadi Prabhu, I have to leave actually in 2 minutes. So
Yes, Prabhuji. We have few
maybe
hands
you can
raised, Prabhuji.
continue
You
the
can-
Q&A.
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes. You can, if you want to
Or
pick
we
up
can just
anyone's
keep it
question,
short.
that's
If
okay.
people can ask a very small question and I can give a one-line answer. ऐसा कोई question है तो we can take. Otherwise, Mahapati Prabhu can continue.
Jyoti Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Jyoti Mataji.
I thought you will go later.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
No.
Prabhuji, while chanting, is it okay if I read some Krishna book or any Srila Prabhupada's book so that my mind
Not while
gets...
chanting. So it's not like, Hare Krishna and reading. In between your chanting, you could do that. So if you've chanted 2 rounds and then you want to read for 30 seconds, that's okay. But not do both the things simultaneously. Because then
Okay.
attention is in neither of them. So if you
Okay.
chant 4 rounds and if you find today it's not working very nicely, then you take a 2-minute break and you read something and then you again get back to chanting, that's fine.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sanjeev ji, you want to ask something?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. Just had a very short question. You said non-vegetarian food is forbidden. I just wanted to ask, what's the position with regard to consumption of onion and garlic? Is that forbidden as well?
No, so onion and garlic are not sinful by nature, but onion and garlic are foods which are not sattvic. So there are 3 guns: Rajagun, Tamagun and Sattvagun. Mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So fresh fruits and vegetables come in the mode of goodness. This is described in detail in the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So maybe Mahapati Prabhu can share more details with you about that afterwards. But onion and garlic come in the mode of ignorance, Tamagun. So what effect it does have is it is very subtle. It's not as if today I ate onion and I am in mode of ignorance, or today I didn't eat onion and I will not be in mode of ignorance. It is very subtle, but the point is it does affect the consciousness. And hence, to be able to be more sattvic, we can avoid it. But there are more details to this and that Mahapati Prabhu can share with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, last question. Can't hear you. Can someone hear him?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hopefully Ravi Prabhuji is asking when you are coming to Attapur.
When you are
He
coming to
may be-
Hyderabad, that I want your association.
When I am coming to Hyderabad.
Last year you
I-
came, it's almost a year. We met on 24th April.
You should come for our yatras.
Definitely, Prabhu, this year I will plan definitely.
We will meet
So I
there.
hope
If
you-
I come to Attapur, I will definitely reach out to you.
Please, Prabhuji, please. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you
You're
so much.
still
Prabhuji.
doing that morning chanting, right? He's part of it.
Yes,
Prabhuji, he is the
Prabhuji.
one.
Wonderful. Keep up your wonderful, consistent service.
Starting
Lord will be
because
so
of your
pleased with
blessings,
you.
only, Prabhuji, it's going on.
Lord will be so pleased with you. Keep it up.
Because of your blessings only, I'm starting, Prabhuji.
Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so it's better I leave now before something, disastrous happens. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for
Hare Krishna.
sharing.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Dhanyavad with
jai.
us. Jai.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Pranam.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Krishna Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank